Hello everyone, my name is Father Law, and today I'm going to be going in depth about a lot of the issues with Season 10's launch and some of the annoying aspects of the reworks that I feel need to be mentioned. For starters, my video about Lawbringer's rework not being a nerf has misled many people into believing that I think he got the perfect rework, or that Ubi put proper time into it, or that there are no flaws, and that is simply not the case. Although I do believe it was a buff, there are still some undeniable flaws to the kit that I'm going to be acknowledging in the video. For starters, I would like to say that I do think it was a buff. I do not think it should have taken 2 years to do. This should have been done back in Season 5, whenever they first mentioned that Shelon Blog was gonna go. It should have been done that season, because the changes, although very good, are not that significant, and it should not have taken this long. Don't get me wrong, they did not put the proper time into this. This should have been done a long time ago. So with that, we are just going to start with a Lawbringer here. I'm going to be talking about Lawbringer Raider, and then a little bit about Hitakiri, but we're just going to start with Lawbringer right now. And so the most annoying part of Lawbringer at this point in time is his unlock tech right now. In my video where I said that his rework was not a nerf, I stated that in the patch notes, Ubi said that they were going to change the side light to be the same direction as his Impale, and they did not do that on launch day. So we've had a ton of Lawbringers running around abusing that. It's obnoxious, to say the least, and I don't know, they said they were going to do it, they didn't do it. It's just as simple as that. Obviously it's unreactable. It's a 400 millisecond unlock top light or a 300 millisecond Impale, so we will have to see what they say about that tomorrow. I don't imagine that will take too long to fix, but it is still annoying that we've had to deal with that at all. Okay, and then an issue that I run into, I have not seen this anywhere else. I've never seen another Lawbringer do this, because it's really specific, but if delayed, Lawbringer's guaranteed follow-up light after his top heavy finisher whiffs into the air. So if you parry a light, you do your ad mortem. If you wait like just a split second and then you do the little guaranteed stunning tap, it just completely misses. It just swings and hits the air in front of them. I don't know why it does that, but it does. I don't know if maybe you could target switch and stunning tap someone. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it. All I know is that I've done it like twice. I've never seen anyone else do it. I've never seen anyone else report it, and it's really unsatisfying to do. And I don't know why I delay the light. I really don't, but it's just something that I've done like twice now, and it's super annoying. And I don't imagine that'll get fixed, because I don't see a lot of people complaining about it, because really you shouldn't be delaying the light like I do anyways. It's just weird. Okay, so then, while I did say that Lawbringer's rework was not a nerf and that it was a buff, like I said, a lot of people thought that I'm saying that he's perfect or that he's really strong or anything like that, and that's not true at all. I don't actually believe that he is perfectly designed right now, and I do believe he could use some improvements, and there are some things I'm genuinely surprised that were not touched. So for starters, he needs better stamina. Most of his combos still leave you very low or out of stamina, and this still makes fighting bash-based heroes very annoying, as you constantly have to disengage to avoid going out of stamina. There have been multiple instances where I start to open up a conch or a black prior or something, and I find myself very low on stamina, and instead of continuing my chains as I get them started or whatever, I end up backing off because I don't want to go out of stamina against them. Lawbringer can't do a ton before going out of stamina, and I'm really genuinely surprised that it wasn't touched with his rework, because he always was just gassed after using a few attacks, and I don't know, I was just really surprised to see that it didn't change. So yeah, I would like to have reduced stamina cost on his heavies, at the least. And then his unblockable finishers have horrible tracking in 4v4s, like really bad. I've had many instances where my weapon just moves through people without hitting them when I'm locked onto an opponent behind them. Probably the only time I seem to hit opponents to my sides are when they try to guard break me as I'm doing it. So it really, really needs better tracking. Like, its tracking is like non-existent currently, and it's really obnoxious for such a wide swinging attack. Now, if they gave it better tracking, what this could do is it would be a buff to Lawbringer's Juggernaut feat. So they give this a better hitbox. Okay, and a Lawbringer goes into a team fight, he pops the Juggernaut feat, it would sync really well together. He'd be scarier in group fights for sure, because he could just be swinging with the hyper armor on the Juggernaut feat and the unblockable heavy. If it had any tracking at all, it would actually be useful in team fights, because you can smack him out of it, so he would be in control as long as that feat was active. Right now the feat is kind of mediocre, because I tested this and it's very, very hard to hit people from the sides with those unblockable finishers. So yes, I do believe they need better tracking for sure. This would really help them in 4v4s. And then this also kind of brings into account my next issue with him. His range is terrible. I was very surprised to get a 400 millisecond top light, and I was even more surprised to see that its range was nerfed. It's just odd. You have to be right in your opponent's face to land these attacks, which is really annoying because opponents that walk backwards puts them out of range of the lights, and it's very prominent against raiders with their dodge guard break after whipping a light, as Lawbringer doesn't have a light chain to follow up and beat the dodge guard break that they have, so the guard break is always guaranteed. So that is very annoying, and I'm not sure why the tracking is so bad, but they need better tracking. Walking backwards shouldn't nullify the light attacks for sure, especially since Lawbringer doesn't have a great way to chase anyone down or make up distance. This brings me into my next main point. This kind of goes for all characters, but a light chain would be really good for Lawbringer's like neutral mixing up and make his offense safer to use. Although I'm not exactly sure how many other people feel like this, but I feel like all heroes should have standardized heavy and light combos. So like everyone should have heavy, heavy, heavy. Everyone should have a light, light, light. Everyone should have a heavy, light, heavy, or light, heavy, light. Those should all just be standard amongst all the heroes, because it gives all of them a fair way to mix up from neutral. And then you would define the characters based off their moves, so like their bashes, their soft feints. Obviously you'd have some with like infinite chains and feints, stuff like that would set them apart and make them different. You shouldn't have cases where certain heroes like Lawbringer can only throw a light after a heavy for 2 years. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't be like that. All characters should be able to mix up properly with these attacks, in my opinion. And I'm not sure how many other people share this opinion, because I rarely see it discussed, but I really think that should be another thing that Ubisoft standardizes amongst the heroes. And then from there, you work on defining the hero with the kit part that makes them unique. The chains should not make them unique at all. It should just be standardized, in my opinion. And I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about that in the comments, for sure. Okay, so next up we're going to be moving on to Raider, and as you're going to see in this video, I played him a lot after his rework to get a feel for him. I had about 6 reps in him pre-rework, and I put about like almost 1.5 almost solely in like brawls and duels playing him after his rework. And Raider is probably has the most issues right now out of all the heroes. Well, out of the 3 heroes that we got with this update, the Lawbringer update, Raider update, and then the Hitakiri. Raider is by far the most weird Um, right off the bat, his neutral zone attack was changed visually to help, I believe, newer players distinguish between his really strong, like, hard hitting zone and then the 30 damage zone attack. So it's literally just a visual change. But now, if you are hit with his neutral zone attack, the one that does only like 30 damage, he spends so much time in recovery that you are able to guard break him after doing that. I assume this will be fixed very, very quickly, if not um, today, Thursday, later on, a few hours after this video uploads, because I am uploading this overnight, should be uploaded in the morning. But that's just ridiculous, in my opinion. The fact that a simple visual change makes a move unusable unless your opponent is one shot or one hit away from dying for an entire week is ridiculous. I don't understand how that gets into the game. And then the other thing, a lot of you are struggling with the stunning tap, and the reason for this is that the stunning tap indicator is actually 100 milliseconds late. So if you're going by indicator, it's actually a 400 millisecond soft feint, and it's pretty hard to react to on console unless you watch his physical animation instead of the indicator. My best advice for any of you that are really struggling with this is to just block top and react to his side heavies, react to letting them fly. This is much easier, so that's what I would suggest if you guys are seriously struggling with that. There's been some debate as to whether this was intended or not by Ubisoft to make the attack more viable and land more, to start chains. And while I find this interesting, in my personal opinion, I highly doubt that it was intentional, just given the fact that they didn't even bother to check a simple neutral zone visual change that gives the opponent a free guard break. So that's my opinion on that. It could be intended. I personally doubt it. We won't really know unless they say something. Hopefully they at least acknowledge it later on today in the dev stream. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to wait and see, honestly. So then, what I think will happen with Raider, whether or not you agree with it, I really think his damage is going to be nerfed, possibly in the mid-season patch. Jing Jun's unblockables that were entirely safe to back dodge were nerfed below 40 damage because the majority of players struggled with it, because I assume they didn't know you could back dodge it. And now Raider pretty much has the exact same thing, but he has access to it after a stun, can soft feint into a 400 millisecond attack, can soft feint to guard break, or he can let it fly for 50 damage. So I do really expect this to be nerfed in some way, again, whether or not you agree with it. I know Jing Jun's unblockables were also really good in 4v4s, but Raiders are just better in almost every single way. It does way more damage. It has probably about the same, if not more, tracking and range to it. So I mean, that is crazy. Along with, I believe, I'm not entirely sure on his feats, but I'm pretty sure he has some sort of rage feat that gives him damage buffs as well. So I'm sure you could do more than 50 damage. This isn't even taking into account revenge and all of that. So I would be surprised if that doesn't get nerfed, because a lot of players struggled with Jing Jun, and now we have this, which just outright does more. I think the only other issues that I have with Raider's Rework is him keeping the dodge guard break and his stamina drain. His dodge guard break, and for some reason his stunning tap, drain a ton of stamina and lead into really high punishes. So if the 400 millisecond stunning tap indicator is meant to be how it is, I believe that the stamina drain for getting hit for it should be minimal. And for how often he can get guard breaks with his soft feints and dodge guard break, I believe the stamina drain should be gone or reduced significantly, as his guard breaks almost always wall splat, and that confirms 30 damage right off the bat, and then leads into his chains. So I mean, do you really need to lose 80% of your stamina? No. So pretty much the only other thing that I really want to reiterate here is that they kept the dodge guard break, when it should have either been removed or changed, because it promotes a very defensive playstyle against him, and he can punish a lot of moves that many other characters cannot, with a lot of attacks. With short recoveries can still be punished by it. The dev team themselves said that shove on block was removed because it slowed down combat, and yet I find myself more often than not rarely attacking experienced raiders, as the dodge guard break can shut down a ton of different offense, a ton of variety of offense. This could be removed entirely, and he could still use his faster stunning tap as a dodge attack, which would make him much less dangerous to attack in general. Or they could rework the grab in some sort of way to make it less oppressive. Maybe if it didn't drain stamina, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. But right now it does so much to a lot of different attacks, and then leads into all of his combos, that it's just a very, very strong attack right now. So overall, I think his rework is good. We really just gotta wait to see what they say about the stunning tap. For sure, to see how that plays out, because I believe that will play a huge role in his viability. And then, as far as Hitakiri goes, I'm not entirely sure what to say. She's really good at trading, but her hyper armor often forces you to turtle to deal with her attacks. This is fine for Lawbringer, as this is where he excels. So if any of you guys have thoughts on her versus your mains, let me know down below, as I'm interested in what you have to say. Because I almost exclusively play Lawbringer and Jengjun, and in my experience fighting her, her guard break range is terrible. She doesn't have anything to stop you from back dodging her a lot, and Lawbringer can dodge shove her kick sweep mix up every single time for a free light, and the only way she really gets damage out of that situation is by feinting into another attack, in which she still gets hit by the shove. She could also feint into dodge, but she doesn't have a dodge attack or anything to punish the shove. Unless she did it super early, she may be able to get a guard break, but it's really hard to punish, even for Raider. I also found it really odd that her zone and forward dodge attack don't chain into anything, as they look like they should. I really don't have much to say about her, as I have little experience outside of what I've noticed when fighting them. So again, just let me know your thoughts on her and her matchups down below. I'll try to read and hopefully become much more informed on her as a character. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Later today, by the time this uploads, the dev stream will be live, and hopefully they adjust some of the bugs I mentioned here and some of the questions that were raised, especially regarding Raider. Other than that, I highly doubt we'll see any further balancing for a while, because that's how Ubisoft likes to do things. At most, we might get a patch quickly, but I don't think we'll have any serious balance changes until mid-season, which sucks, but I guess it is better than at the beginning of every season like they were doing. So, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all in the next video.